It's a little different on the back end, but not very much. They're very similar. So for the rubric,
well, we've got a, I don't know if it's the computer went up, but this particular interactive template is not responding to any of the drop-down menus.
oh, it's the reason it's protected. You got to enable it right there. Enable editing.
Okay.
That's caught me before.
The other question is how do we confirm or verify or refresh ourselves as to what assignment option we chose when we did this?
You can ask me, and I can tell you off of the list, because I have a master spreadsheet that was generated from all the. Right. If you are unfamiliar, if you've forgotten, hey, I can't quite remember what I said. Email me, and I'll fire right back to you.
And we can change it at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't work for me, so I want to go for 199.
So, with the workbook, the first page, the instruction page, is meant to catch. Pardon? Oh, yeah. The instruction page here is meant to capture some information about the course that we can aggregate on later. So I want the course prefix because in the future you might want to be able to say, hey, what are all our aggregated data look like for history codes or some other code? And I could aggregate and give that data to you. Not that we're going to go out and try to call out any particular code, but we'd be able to give you that data if you want for program review in the future. So because this is culture, only the prefixes that align to culture will be there. So I could say something like history. Then we want to know the level of the course. I don't want to know the course ID, because the purpose of this is not to identify you, your course, or anything. We just want to know what level you're teaching at 100 through graduate. So let's say it's an intro level history class. We need to know the semester, which is obviously this semester, fall 17. The flow, we're doing number 3. The measure that you selected, we're pretending that we did a short paper. And then number 6 here, the pedagogy you're using. The idea is that down the line, we might want to use these data to evaluate different instructional practices, like, the tutoring ability with SLA classes. Are you doing SLA? Are you a lab class? Are you an online class? Maybe in the future we want to ask, how are our online students doing versus non-online? So we'll try to capture that kind of data here. Not that we're going to use it right away, but it'll be there in the future. So I'm just going to say face-to-face lecture.
So, on that standard measure, when I hit it says select response example.
Oh, because you picked the score sheet. The rubric one will align with the assignments that do rubrics. If you take the score workbooks, it'll only give you exams. Yep, and then you explain. Okay.
So you're saying this one, not this one?
See, you picked the culture score workbook instead of the culture rubric workbook.
Okay,
So back at.
go back.
Yeah. Go.
Close it.
Yep.
I'm making the same mistake.
Norm. Yeah, you're using the norm test.
So get rid of that.
Yep. Get rid of that.
Just use the rubric. Is what
Use the rubric one.
See, this can go which he goes to
The rubric one. Yep. That one.
Right. I was trying to pick.
And now that one will be in your downloads folder.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And now once you unlock it, you'll have to enable editing again. Yep. Now it should work for you. Field 7 is where you get to customize. So you can put in a description of what you're doing. So like if John has a paper, but he's using scores, he could say, hey, my philosophy students wrote a short paper about, I don't know, existentialism. And they were evaluated and given a score, and I've entered the score into the score workbook, whatever. Some sort of a short description so that you can know what's going on, and in the future, when we go back and look at these workbooks, we can get a sense of what kind of things people were doing. Yep.
On the, I know through the workbook, the score workbook we have, score workbook we have total number of points, item 8.
Okay.
Walk us through what that is.
Total number of points. Yeah, on the score workbook, you
And culture 1, culture 2, culture 3, culture 4.
right. So there's different outcomes possible, and we're doing number 3. So you'd put in the total number of points for your assignment for outcome number 3 that you're assessing.
100 points.
100 points,
Culture 3.
if that's what your assignment was worth. If it was worth 37, you put 37. Yep.
So maybe this is somewhere where I can access it, or maybe it's in your email. But what if I forgot what measure I selected?
That's when you email me, and I can email you back.
Okay.
Because your registration is permanently saved on a spreadsheet now, and I can just rapidly refer to it.
Thank you.
Might not show all the options. I should have a pre-post.
Pre-post would be using a pre-post score book. There's actually a separate score book for pre-post.
So if you're in rubric, you gotta download it.
I was going to say, flow and so this is,
Okay. Here's the tricky part, and it's not that tricky. The next thing we need, and the only other thing we need, are the scores.
Student IDs, names.
Yes. Yep. We need the score sheet. So we go to the score sheet, the second sheet, and in this sheet there's a lot of columns.
the score, is the score sheet a link on this page?
It's the bottom of your Excel. There's another tab.
Oh, okay, got it.
In the score tab, there's a lot of gray columns. You do not need to do anything with the gray columns. Those are automatically filled. Pull it up a little bit. There you got it, scores. You can ignore all the gray. We need 3 things. We need the student names, and the only reason we need the student names is to make it easy for you to put the scores in. After you're done, those student names are going to be stripped off and thrown away and never used again. So they're only there for your ease of use.
I thought we were using that to track students' progress over their entire time.
We're using the student IDs.
Student IDs, okay.
The other thing we need are student IDs, which are the 8-digit IDs, which are not in Blackboard, because they chose not to put them in Blackboard, they being the senior administrators when they set Blackboard up. They give the short usernames.
Is there a talk about
So where do we get the IDs?
That's way above my pay scale.
Where you just said how to get
Where do we get the IDs?
I will show you. There are 2 ways to do this. One you can do. In MyFSU, when you get your summary roster for the semester, that summary roster has the names and IDs. And you'll actually be able to copy that and paste it in. But if you've got a multi-section class, yes, John?
I can do that, and it says the Excel chart you're trying to change is a protected sheet. Make a change to protected sheet, you must be required to enter a password.
Okay, so you went and you copied, make a new sheet.
A new sheet here.
Yeah, make a new Excel sheet, file new, whatever it is to make new. Yeah. Okay, now paste in there. Now just take the names and IDs for the students and copy those. Okay, I'll show you on my screen.
Cliff, is there another way? 'Cause I
There
can't
is
follow
another
what
way.
you just said.
The other way is for me to do it for you.
I would like that.
So I'm going to show you the first way, and then I'll show you the second way.
Do it for me. Send it my way. I will give you a Christmas card.
So
Or a Hanukkah card, or whatever you prefer.
the holiday of your preference
A
card.
Kwanzaa card. I can find any card.
So if I go into MyFSU, I'm just going to make a new browser. I'm going to go into MyFSU and show you my class. I think we're safe. It won't be FERPA in here. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to faculty. Now I'm going to go to my summary class list. Summary class list for fall. And I'll take 286. Here's my first section of 286. There's my student names and their IDs. I can take this and just drag it, and I can copy that, and I'm going to open up a new Excel file and just paste that in. So all I do is copy paste. That's a lot of garbage. All I want are the student IDs and names. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to put them in here. And you see that the gray columns get filled in for you. Now, all I have to do is give a score for my students. I look at their work and I say, how are they doing? 4 is extraordinarily well. 3 is at the level we expect a senior to be, but not really exemplary, but proficient. 2 is not quite there. You're getting it, but you're not quite where we want a senior to be. 1 is, you're just like a beginning freshman. You're not really applying very well. And 0 is like, did you do the assignment? So you put in your scores as you evaluate. In this case, I'm using rubric scores.
But the question, you intimated 2 or 3 things in there. That A, you were looking at their level as a
senior.
Freshman, senior student. Are we to use senior for all
Yes.
We're presupposing that anybody whose name is there is a senior.
Nope. We are comparing their work to what you would expect a senior's work to look like. Now, I'm saying this was a 100 level history class. How many 100 level history people are going to be doing senior level work? Not very many. And that is exactly what we want to know. That is not a reflection of history or the instructor or the program. That is just a reflection of the students are still immature at the 100 level. We want to compare them to when they take a 300 level history class. They should hopefully be better then. If we use grades, everybody gets grades like an A in 100. They'll get an A at 300, but they're not doing the same level work.
So where's the rubric?
That's a separate place.
Because it seems like right now, no offense, we're doing like much more ad hoc 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, right now I am to show you this process, but I'll show you the rubrics.
Okay, but you would ideally use the
You'd be using a rubric at this
to
time.
help determine whether or not you give them a 1, 2, 3,
Right.
4 in that process.
Could you just say, where did you get this copy-paste thing from? You know, the list? I mean, I went
Oh.
to...
Class list, you copy.
Summary class list from my FSU.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you're teaching COM 121 and you've got 50 sections, and you don't feel like copying and pasting 50 times or whatever, there's another way. You can let me know, and I can pull a web focus report. And with a web focus report, I can give you every student of every section in one go in one spreadsheet.
Wait, what was that you can do again?
Yeah, sorry, I was having help.
In other words, you can get everybody that's enrolled in all the
If-
121s or one.
Let's say History 150, you're running a bunch of sections, and you don't feel like pulling them individually. You contact me or another administrator with web focus access. I can run a quick web focus report in like 10 seconds and get every name and ID of every student in every section of any course in the university. And I can send that to you as an Excel spreadsheet. Copy, paste, you're done.
See, that would be ideal for me because I have
Isn't that
4.
standard practice?
Because there's only one of me.
For those of us see multiple sections, that would be great.
I,
That's the other challenge I run into.
not everybody has access to web focus.